it was like lightning. Everybody was frightening. The music was soothing. They all started grooving. Yeah, 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 yeah. Listen to Buzzbucks. Ballroom blitz, blitz, blitz. Ballroom blitz, blitz, blitz. I'm Bert.
I'm Clay.
Why do you look mad at me?
I'm more upset that I couldn't actually continue it.
Oh.
I'm more mad at myself that I couldn't keep it going.
This is the Buzzpucks Pod. This is the Buzzpucks Pod.
Yeah.
That's because all these series have been chippy so far. Welcome to week 1 of the playoffs.
It's been fun. Oh my God. It's back.
Just some
baby.
Tasty hate in every series except maybe Colorado and Seattle.
Yeah, no, there's no real
That's
hate.
the only one
There's
that's
no
not really
no.
been that chippy. But every other one has been like they're swinging for the fences at each other. And I love it.
It's like
Winnipeg and Vegas hasn't been that bad either.
the West has been calmer.
Yeah.
The West has been...
the East is all the divisions playing each other currently.
Yes. But there's been 2 incidents of players choking another one.
Yeah.
In the East.
In the East, yeah. Well, I don't.
Not one.
The one I texted you
but
about. The one I texted you about the other night. I don't know if he was actually choking him, but he did have his hand right here on his collarbone, like right at his throat. You guys can't see me, but oh, God.
Not one, but 2.
And the fact that we can watch these games with impunity makes it so much better.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I could just be like, oh yeah, kill him.
It's making me like I am going into some of these series as neutrals, and that is changing as I watch these games. Just like
I would say, well,
hope you lose.
I don't know that I was really pulling for anybody in any of these series, really. Maybe everybody against Boston. I don't know. And then past that, everybody against the Eastern Conference. That's kind of all I feel like.
Yeah.
And just because our teams are in the Eastern Conference, and I fucking hate everyone else.
And it's not going to get better.
No,
it's not going to get better. It's only getting worse.
Yeah. But before we get into any of that, what are we drinking, Clay?
This is kind of...
I picked this out.
Yeah, you picked this out. It's good. It makes sense because... As Bert said, none of our teams are in the playoffs right now, so we're drinking Sad Boy beer.
Sad Boy beer.
It's by Hoax Brewing. The quote is, "Saddest thing to ever touch your lips."
I'll be the judge of that.
I'll be the judge of that, and I've had some interesting X's.
And I've drank some terrible beers.
So, ales with cures ya. Misery loves company, so we teamed up with our friends at Emo Night Connecticut to package our can. That's who did the
And I hate to break it to you, Hoax Brewing, Milwaukee's Best is certainly a sadder beer than this. It was actually pretty good.
It didn't,
I don't know why
they didn't say saddest beer. Saddest thing.
Milwaukee's Best is still sadder. Have you ever had Milwaukee's Best?
Yeah, of course I've had. Of course I've had.
The only time I've ever had that, I was hammered. And somebody gave me one, and they were like, here, drink this. And I drank it. I was like, this is terrible.
Here's the thing. I half expected you to start singing Miss You by Blink-182 because of this beer.
Yeah, that's fair. It's okay. It's good. It's good, sorry. I don't know why. I think it has a heart on the front that kind of looks like an apple. So my brain was like, this is going to taste like apple.
It is a cider.
It does not.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's a beer.
It's
good. Yeah,
it says fine. Crispy and crushable. Like
that
like
might have been
apple.
what threw me off, too, yeah. But, it's good. It's just kind of a, typical beer.
Good lager. Who
Who
wants to go first? Because...
I'll go first.
It seems like we're going to talk about the East first.
So...
Because there's a lot to talk about.
Clay and I have split this kind of amongst our teams.
Yep.
And now the only weird thing about that is that obviously Colorado is playing Seattle and Vegas is playing Winnipeg. Obviously those teams are in different divisions. So I took Vegas and Winnipeg. Clay took Colorado, Seattle.
I'm glad we agreed to that ahead of time because I was doing these today. It's just like, I really hope I remembered correctly.
Well, if not, I mean...
Which ones I said.
Yeah. I have tried to watch every game I can, and then every game I could not, I have watched the highlight reel on. Shout out the NHL just having a YouTube channel where they put game highlights on.
There's like Thursday and Friday I couldn't watch any hockey at all. But other than like that, I've actually watched some of every game going on that night.
I missed I've been missing the late games for I've been seeing like the beginning of them.
Oh yeah, I'm not finishing
because we have jobs.
Yeah.
We have to be up.
Not even just jobs. I get sleepy.
And we're
point.
both old. I'm an old man at this point.
Like I didn't watch much of the first Winnipeg Vegas game.
Yeah.
But
what
I saw was that dude get his face cut by a skate. I saw that live.
Yeah, that wasn't a dirty play. That was just a weird thing that happened, unfortunately.
Incidental. But
he's okay.
Yeah. Came back in the game.
Yeah, but shout outs to the NHL for just having a YouTube channel that they put up their like game highlights on that are usually like around 8 or 9 minutes long.
9 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty
solidly. The one thing I will say,
I'm gonna have the same exact complaint as
you.
They
don't ever put any controversial plays in the highlights.
No fights.
No dirty
chippiness.
hits. No questionable calls. None of that.
They don't show why a power play has been called.
No. That would be the one critique that I have.
It's just goals and chances.
But thankfully that's what Reddit is for.
Even then, sometimes it gets lost.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think I've seen all of the controversial things that have happened so far too.
Seen, forgotten about, kind of remembered.
We'll bring it back up, yeah. So, let's start things off with Carolina and the New York Islanders, which I think was the first series that was played. It was the kickoff one. I can't remember. It was either them or Toronto, Tampa Bay. That was the kickoff series.
Wasn't it Boston?
No, you're right. It was either
Boston,
these guys
Florida.
or Boston or Florida. I
think it was the Islanders, Carolina, and Boston, Florida was the 7:30 game.
Yeah, they happened within half an hour of each other. But anyway,
we both had the Islanders winning this one.
Not so much anymore.
So
Carolina is 4 games have been played so far. So for half the series, 4 games have been played. The other half of the series, 3 games have been played.
Game 4 is tonight for that.
The other half, yeah. No series are going to end in 4 games, thankfully. It's kind of boring when it's a sweep and one team gets dominated. However,
I don't know. The possible sweep would have been really funny.
Oh, well. Some of them would have been pretty fun. If Seattle had swept Colorado or Florida had swept Boston, that would have been objectively very funny.
Just the Rangers sweeping the Devils would have been
pretty funny, too. That would have been pretty funny, too. But yeah, let's talk about Carolina and the Islanders. Through 4 games, Carolina is up 3-1, and I do not see a way that the Islanders can win 3 straight games. It's not impossible.
I don't see it.
Not impossible, but I cannot see it happening.
No, we both thought the loss of Shevchenko going into this. Svechnikov, my God.
Shevchenko? That's not even a player. Svechnikov, yeah. Clay.
Am I drunk?
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right. The loss of Svechnikov would be huge. They were kind of sputtering going into this, but
Carolina has really locked things down for the most part, except for one game. They won game 1 2-1, where they outshot the Islanders 37-26. Carolina was 2 for 4 on the power play in that game. The Islanders were 0 for 4 on the power play in that game.
Yep.
Aho and Nason each had a goal each, while Burns and Nachos each had an assist on both of those goals. So they each had 2 assists.
Yeah.
Was my point. Polak had the only goal for the Islanders, completely unassisted, which I thought was interesting. Sorokin had a really good game, though, 35 for 37. He might have been the only reason it was close.
Yes.
Sorokin's
the only reason
they're really in it. Yeah, Carolina, despite the score, Carolina really controlled this game from the outset. Now, moving on to game 2, Carolina won in overtime, so this was a closer game. Outshot them 36-26. Carolina 1 for 6 on the power play. The Islanders did not have a power play. So I know some people out there would probably be like, well, that's impossible that they didn't have a power play. There was no penalties on Carolina in that game.
Sometimes that just happens.
Carolina, I heard one of the announcers.
They're really disciplined.
I heard one of the announcers last night during the Carolina game, or not last night, yesterday afternoon, that was like, Carolina's just not going in the scrums anymore. They have figured out the Islanders. What the Islanders try to do is get under your skin, do borderline hits, or just generally annoying things.
We've seen during this series.
Yeah. And Carolina's just been like, ignore, you
Right.
know, for the most part. Jesper Fost, Jesper Fost had the overtime game winner for Carolina, while Slavin had a goal and assist. Nason scored again, so did Stasny, and Burns had 2 assists. The Islanders, Nelson and Palmieri, each had a goal and an assist, while Barzell had the other goal, and Dobson had 2 assists. Now, let's move on to the game the Islanders won, Game 3, winning 5-1.
And this is the game where they got
This game got super chippy, and there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened. The Islanders were 1 for 5 on the power play. Finally got a power play goal.
Finally, yep.
4 for 4 on the PK. So obviously Carolina was 0 for 4.
Which they needed.
Yes. Palmieri, Cizikas, and Mayfield each had a goal and an assist. Lee and Martin each had a goal. Pulak, 2 assists, and Sorokin, 30 for 31. Jesper Fast scored the only goal for Carolina in that game. Now, a stat I'm sure people will mention at least until next year is that they scored 4 goals in like
2 minutes.
2 minutes and change or something, which is a record in the playoffs.
Yep.
Which is great. It's still the only game that they won.
Yep.
So it's the only game that the Islanders have really looked like they're a part of it.
And
I mean, they did take it to overtime in Game 2, but still.
This is the game. Who punched Anders Lee in the face on the bench?
That was Martin Necas. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
Necas got hit into the Islanders bench, like flipped over the board into the bench. He stood up and punched Anders Lee right in the face for some reason.
All right. What's really funny about this is Anders Lee wasn't even the Islanders player that was directly next to him.
No, he was one guy over,
down. But looking down, Necas had a intact stick going into the boards,
and didn't when he popped out. Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Someone on the Islanders bench broke his stick while he was over there.
I would guess it was probably Anders Lee.
Yeah, exactly.
So so that was the game. That was
just funny.
The Islanders got to play the way that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Matt Martin and Casey Cizikas scored in this game would tell you that they got to play their way.
Yes.
But Carolina comes back in Game 4 and just utterly dominates them.
Plays their way.
5-2. It was
not even
definitely
close.
3-0 at one point. I think maybe even 4-0 at one point, if I can remember. I didn't get to watch this game, unfortunately. I was at work. Carolina 2 for 5 on the power play in that game. 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Again, the Islanders did have power plays.
The Islanders are not scoring on their power plays.
They're outside of Game 3. They only have 6 goals in 3 games. Outside of the one that they won, 2 goals a game. That's not going to win you that many games. Seth Jarvis had 2 goals in this game. Aho, goal, 2 assists. Nason scored it. Getting on the scoreboard again, and McCarron, I think. It was his first game for Carolina. He had a goal and an assist in this game.
Good for him.
I kind of jumbled up his name when I was writing it down, but I think it's McCarron or McEachern. McEachern, maybe. He's a young guy. This was his first game up because of injuries. He got in the game and he scored and got an assist.
That's awesome.
The Islanders, not a great game for them. But if you look at this, so that was 5 penalty kills for the Islanders in that game, 4 in the game previous, 6 in the game before that, and 4 in the game before that.
So the penalty's good, penalty kill is good, power play is bad.
2 of these games, they gave up 2 power play goals.
Oh, so what you're saying is they're taking a lot of penalties.
Yeah, that was my point. Yes, they're taking a lot of penalties. And yes, they have killed off the majority of them.
Sorry, I thought you were talking that they killed that many penalties.
No,
that's my fault.
No. They have taken... let me do that quick math there. Sorry, I hit my mic. That's 10, 14, 19 penalties. 19 power plays against for the Islanders in the first 4 games.
the amount of penalty minutes I have in some of my games.
Oh, I know. Some of these games have gotten insane. Now, there was probably more penalties than that, but they're offsetting penalties or whatever.
So we'll talk about, let's just say this right now. Reffing is hard.
Yeah. They're not going to get everything. They're not going to get everything correct. And I know we've ragged on the refs before.
Reffing is bad right now.
Yeah.
We're ragging on them before. We're going to rag on them right now.
Sure.
There is so many so many instances where had you not call something right there.
Oh, was it in
Slash, you called that, but you didn't call that.
Yeah.
Right now, they're so worried about managing or not managing.
Yeah, right now, for a lot of these series, they're just trying to keep the games under control and not have brawls break out.
And they're doing such a bad job.
Yeah, they are.
By being so worried that they're going to affect the outcome of the game, they're affecting the outcome of the game.
Yeah. I think it might have been game 2 where Carolina won in overtime. They missed a blatant high stick on, I believe, Scott Mayfield. I think it was that game where he got high sticked right in front of the ref, and he called nothing. And that was like a minute before they scored the overtime game winner.
Right. Like
I think it was that game.
We can talk about an instance during the Toronto-Tampa series.
Yeah.
Where, how are you not calling a penalty on that?
Yeah.
Like, literally how?
Well, there was I mean, even last night in
and Sheldon Keefe called them out for that in a very well articulated way to like call out the put the refs on notice without putting a target on his team's back.
I don't know, man. I'm not saying I disagree with what you're saying, but even sometimes saying anything about the refs in any sport makes me worry. Anything that's not like they did a great job, you know.
This entire series, both teams are going back and forth against the refs.
Yeah, that's true.
Both teams are doing it,
and it's not the only one either.
No,
because I believe
Dallas, Minnesota. They're talking
Dallas,
about the
Minnesota,
refs
Edmonton, LA has been talking about the refs a lot. Well, at least Edmonton has been talking about the refs a lot. But
stop taking dumb penalties.
Well, there's that too. Yeah.
Stop taking dumb penalties.
I'll mention it when we get to that series. There was a really funny, and I'm sure you saw it too, really funny thing that their coach said after the game. And everybody was like,
maybe.
Who cares?
Right.
We'll get to it when we get there.
You done with the series?
Mm-hmm.
Got anything else you want to add?
I can't see a way. I think the Islanders could sneak out Game 5, force a Game 6, maybe even force a Game 7.
They're in Carolina right now.
Yeah.
Also,
I can't see them winning 3 in a row the way they've been playing.
Making our picks.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how much of a factor home ice was.
Yeah, it happens.
I did.
Yeah, it happens.
Specifically this series.
Some of these series it has not mattered.
Some of them.
So specifically the next one I'm going to talk about. But one more thing I would like to point out. Hey, Bo Horvat, where you at? You gonna show up? Just saying. Traded all that shit for you. Gave you that big ass contract.
I mean,
he scored, I believe, 1 goal. In this series so far.
For Horvat, we knew his production was offensive production was going to drop off. We knew that because of the offense.
Not the cliff that it dropped off, though. He has 3 even strength goals since coming over from Vancouver.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's regular season and playoffs.
So,
hey, man, I know it's a new team, know it's a new system. Maybe you're still learning it. You got to do something.
Well, it's the same with Tanner Jeannot in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That entire draft year for 4 points in 22 games.
Yep.
So. All right. We're actually not going to talk about Tampa Bay and Toronto right now. We're going to talk about the same series the same
night.
Same night. So Boston and Florida.
Ooh. I want to give a real quick shout out to the NHL. They haven't fucked up the scheduling yet of the series.
Yeah, right?
They've been consistent every other day.
This has been great.
Which is really nice because usually they're like, oh yeah, Game 4, there's 2 games in between for no reason. So thank you, ESPN, TNT, TBS, whoever is the one that's making them stay on a schedule.
All right, so Game 1, Boston, Florida. After 4 games, the series is just like Bert's series. It is Boston 3, Florida 1, and
once again, no way Florida wins 3 games in a row.
Just like the Islanders, Florida really has not been in it.
I have less
faith in Florida
than the Islanders. Because the Islanders could just injure a bunch of people, which they've done before. So
Florida's trying.
I know,
Florida
but
is
the
trying.
Islanders are better at it.
You got Sam Bennett, Matt Kachuk, and
Kyle Clutterbuck, Casey Cizikas, and Matt Martin.
Lomberg?
Lomberg's on Florida, yeah.
Yeah, so, like...
Well, we didn't even mention Cook and Yemi choked the bitch.
Yeah.
In Game 3, I think it was.
Yeah, that was Cook and Yemi. No.
Wait.
No, it was Nietzsche's. We talked about this.
No, wait, was it?
It was Hersher.
You're right. I'm
Hersher.
so sorry.
Wrong
I am so sorry. Wrong series. Red and white team, my bad.
Because this is a series.
I'm just thinking of all the shit that's happened.
I don't even know what
my teams jumbled up.
I don't even know what game this was at this point because Lomberg did choke a bitch.
Yeah, Lomberg. That's what made me think of it.
In Trent Frederick, who Trent Frederick has, I think 5 inches and like 20 pounds on him. So he had him in a scrum where he was already pinned by someone else.
Yeah, and Lomberg just like grabbed him by the throat or something. Yeah.
Frederick talked about this. Like, the lights were starting to go dim. It was actually really scary. You could see the way his feet were kicking in that scrum.
Somebody was on his throat. Yeah. It's funny because Lomberg is like a Dollar Tree version of Brad Marchand. He's like not nearly as good of a player. He's not a good scorer. He's not even that good of a goon.
Lomberg is I would say closer to Clutterbuck than
maybe. I was just thinking
Martin.
Same series, you know.
Bennett's more of a Marchand, like more Dollar Tree. He's
maybe, yeah.
Not as good.
I was just thinking of like stature wise and
will
doing dirty things in scrums.
Sam Bennett will do something stupid.
Sure. Marchand has been keeping it together this series so far.
Yeah, he really
for
has.
the most part. He's defended his teammates.
But he also realizes it at this point. Like he's like, oh, I got Hathaway, I got Frederick.
Yeah,
I got Bertuzzi. Yeah. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's talk about this series.
All right. So, game 1, Boston wins this game 3-1. Allmark really is the difference here. This was a very close game. Both teams were like kind of testing each other. Allmark stopped 31 of 32. Alex Lyon did do a very good job.
Alex Lyon played very good in this game.
He's done a very good job.
He's played pretty well the entire series, really.
Yes.
I wouldn't put any of this on Alex Lyon.
He didn't. It's a sub 900 save percentage on this game, but like it is what it is. Bertuzzi had 2 assists in this first game, and then Matt Kachuk had the goal, Florida's only goal. Also, Boston was 1 for 2 on the power play, and then 2 for 2 on the penalty kill, which obviously reversed. Yep. Boston kind of just controlled the game.
Yeah. There were moments where Florida looked like they're one shot away.
They always threatened. Yeah. Florida always threatened.
They were threatening, but just never cashed in on any of those threats.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why Allmark did actually end up being the number 1 star of this game.
Yeah. He has also played very well this year.
Really saved some high danger chances. Game 2. Now this went completely Florida's way. That was a 6-3 Florida win.
Yeah.
Allmark and Lyon both again in nets. But this
game gave me false hope for Florida.
This is also the game where things got chippy.
Yeah.
Really chippy. Brandon Montour had 2 goals in this game. Penalty minutes.
Hit me with them.
I think I reversed it. Shit. I think I reversed it.
I can pull it up.
Boston 32.
Sorry.
32 penalty minutes for Boston, 60 for Florida.
60. Good God.
And Boston was 1 for 4 on the power play, 3 for 3 with a shorthanded on the penalty kill, and then, vice versa. So there was only 7 penalties in this game.
Oh, no. Flipped.
It is
Florida had 32 penalties.
It is Boston had 60. Okay. Which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, for real.
Also the discrepancy, and I don't really. This is the game where Longberg choked Frederick.
Yes.
But
but they didn't see that. So
Right. So like I'm trying to feel like who got tossed, how many fighting majors were there. I kind of can't remember. So yeah, this and a lot of this was Florida doing a little bit of extracurriculars.
Yeah.
And then Boston getting penalized for
Garnet
as a
Hathaway,
response.
Garnet Hathaway got a misconduct. Gudas got a misconduct. Forbut got a misconduct. Foligno got a misconduct. Lomberg got a misconduct. Trent Frederick got a misconduct. And Tyler Bertuzzi got a misconduct.
Okay,
so that must have all been from
around the same thing.
That's right, because there was a fight with 3 seconds left in the game.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they got misconducts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny.
Now this game. Now we're gonna go on to game 3. Boston comes back, and this is in Miami now. Boston comes back and takes game 3, winning 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
Olmark in net for Boston. Lyon starts the game for Florida, and after 3 goals, he gets pulled.
Yeah.
And he didn't even play bad, so it's 23 for 25.
Yeah, that isn't that bad.
It's not great, but it's not bad.
23 for 25? Oh, whatever.
23 for 26.
Okay.
It's got to be.
That makes more sense.
No, it's an empty net goal.
Okay.
23 for 25. That's why he gets pulled.
Got it.
Taylor Hall's goal. He had a goal and assist. His goal was an empty netter. And then Boston was 0 for 4 on the power play, but reverse it. So Florida was 4 for 4 on their penalty kill, but they got a shorthanded goal on top of that too.
There you go.
And
But
then
I watched this game. Boston had control.
The entire time.
Florida was playing from behind the whole time.
Yep.
And they made it close towards the end, but it was one of those things. It was like,
right.
I mean, yeah, they made it 3-2. I remember with their goalie pulled, but then Taylor Hall ended it. So.
It was 3-1. It was Boston was up 3-0. Florida battled back to be 3-2, but then the empty net iced it.
Netter, yeah.
And finally, this is where things get really chippy in this series. Game 4, Boston beats Florida 6-2.
Yeah.
Olmark is in net here. He saved 41-43. Bobrovsky gets the start. He's 25 for 30. But a lot of these, what are you going to really do? Because Boston was 2 for 4 on the power play.
Yep. Well, I think it was
Florida
this game.
was 1 for 4 on the power play.
Oh,
so
they got a power play goal.
They got a power play goal.
I think it was this game Marchand opened up the scoring by no one knew where the puck was except him, and he just poked it in behind.
Yes.
One of
Alex Lyon's goal, I think in game 1, the puck was on the top of his pad. He was in the butterfly position. The puck was on the top of his pad.
And somebody saw it and was just like, "Oh, sorry about that." My hand got caught.
It was, and I think that was DeBrusque because he's popped a couple of goals in.
Yeah.
Penalty minutes in this game were 35-35 because there was a scrum after the first period where Tkachuk comes in late and cross-checks Garnet Hathaway in the back where there's no padding.
Yeah.
Drops him like a sack of potatoes, and while that scrum's going on, Sam Bennett comes and cup checks Hathaway while he's lying prone.
While he's on the floor. Real nice.
Yep.
Real nice.
And then after the end of the second period, Tkachuk keeps going and cross-checks Olmark.
Yep. Oh, yeah, there's been goalies getting in fights, too.
Well,
didn't Olmark get tossed?
Olmark got tossed.
Yeah.
He got a game. Yeah. He got a game misconduct. It
was right at the end of the game, so it didn't really matter that much.
End of the second period.
Oh, was it really?
It was the second period.
No, there was another goalie who got tossed at the end of the game. It wasn't in this series, clearly.
It might have been Samsonov.
Maybe?
Either way, what Montgomery said was... Montgomery said, yes, he could have stayed on. We did put in Swayman because we were worried about Florida running Olmark.
That's fair.
So yeah,
I would be worried about that too.
a lot of people in the like a lot of comments and threads are saying that Kachuk hid behind the ref while Olmark was trying to fight him.
And they were not going to let Olmark fight.
That's the
Kachuk.
thing.
In no universe would the refs let that happen.
The ref was holding on to Kachuk the entire time.
Yeah.
There was no hiding behind.
No.
He was.
No. The refs are like, no, this isn't happening. You're not fighting.
Ever since Kachuk got ragdolled by Cassian.
Yeah.
In that Battle of Alberta, I will say Kachuk will answer bells.
Yeah.
When it comes to it.
No. But my point is, they were never going to let him fight Allmark. Allmark is the goalie. He would beat the shit out of Allmark.
Yes. With all those pads.
Because with all the pads on,
Yep.
it's basically like a normal guy fist fighting a sumo wrestler.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to be faster.
Yep.
And that's not fair.
Nope.
And even though Allmark took his mask off and
threw his gloves
down,
he
and
was trying to
fight,
go for him.
The refs were like, no fucking way. No way.
So a lot of that, I believe Florida ended up on the power play.
Who knows?
So
who knows how they dish out penalties?
Yeah,
sometimes.
so it's been a lot of really confusing calls, or like in the bed.
Big scrums like that always have confusing conclusions where you're like, wait, why is one of the teams on the power play? Everybody was fighting.
Kachuk cross-checked a goalie, and the goalie is the one
penalty.
that gets the misconduct. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so we'll see what happens on
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'm really pissed off at Florida for making me root for Boston this series.
Yeah, Florida's been real dirts McGirts.
Oh, it's been.
Oh, well, let's say too. Another disappointing thing about Florida, Bergeron has not played at all.
Bergeron hasn't played
series.
Bergeron got injured in the Montreal game.
Yeah, that's
the last game of the season. He got injured.
Yeah, there's some other things going on with that. He wanted I guess his father is dying of cancer, and he wanted to play in front of his father in Montreal one last time, and unfortunately, he got injured in that game.
Oh yeah, no,
That's a bummer.
So a lot of people are, a lot of Boston fans are complaining about. It's just like, why don't you rest Bergeron there? First of all, Bergeron rested multiple games before the Montreal game, and if Bergeron says he wants to play, he's gonna play.
I was like,
it's unfortunate he got hurt.
It's really funny that any fans think Jim Montgomery can stop Bergeron from playing.
So Jim Montgomery keeps talking about, it's just like, because Bergeron is in the in the press box watching the game, can't be on the bench. He keeps coming in after periods and is basically coaching and like X's and O's and stuff like that, what he's seen. So if this is the end of Bergeron's career as a player,
last season. Who knows?
He's
going to
be behind the bench. Like
maybe for Boston.
He's basically been an extra assistant coach this entire series.
I would think that Boston's higher ups
not
would
fair.
I wouldn't be surprised if Boston's higher ups were like, yeah, he's just an assistant coach now.
Right.
Not that I think Jim Montgomery would have an issue with that, but they would just be like, Patrice Bergeron's the assistant coach, and then the head coach in like 4 years or something.
Montgomery said multiple times this scene, it's just like, having Patrice Bergeron has made my job so much easier.
Yeah, I think that is something that's overlooked with like really good captains in the league. I've never really heard this about somebody like Crosby or Ovechkin, but I have to imagine they're doing stuff like that too.
Right.
People just don't necessarily say it. But like, yeah, if a guy has been the captain of the team or has been on the team for 15 years, in the case of Bergeron, Crosby, Ovechkin, other guys like that, everybody's going to listen to those guys.
Right.
Well,
but sometimes that doesn't translate from a star player.
That's true. That's fair.
Because some of their skill, like even think of Gretzky as a coach.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Gretzky was really bad as a coach.
A lot of his skill...
Yeah, not all of them are good at it.
A lot of his skill and his vision is just so natural to him.
He doesn't understand why other people don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Barry Bonds as a hitting coach was an awful hitting coach because...
He was like, why don't you just take steroids? Worked for me.
Not even that.
Mark McGuire wasn't a very good hitting coach either, if I remember correctly.
Well, Barry Bonds was one of the best players in the league before the steroids.
Yeah, he was.
Why he took the steroids.
And then he became some weird ogre man after he took the steroids.
He took the steroids because Sosa and McGuire were getting all this recognition when he was the best player.
Yeah. He already had over 100 home runs before he left Pittsburgh.
Right.
Back in the early 90s, I think.
The dude was just such a natural talent. So just like, why don't you just...
He had a very high batting average.
Why don't you just hit it?
Yeah, just hit it.
Just hit it.
Yeah, he's going to throw a curveball. Just hit it.
Yeah. Michael Jordan being a coach, basketball coach, same thing.
You're right, though. Sometimes it just doesn't translate. Just because you reminded me of it, just hit the ball.
Just hit the ball.
The last 2 days, I've been fiending John Boy, on YouTube. So shout out to John Boy. His baseball breakdowns are really good, especially the lip reading ones.
His baseball breakdowns and his hockey breakdowns.
I haven't watched the hockey ones yet. I'll have to watch the hockey ones. I've just been kind of because it's like an 800 episode playlist of him breaking down baseball stuff, and I don't pay attention to baseball that much, so I'm like, yeah, I could just start this, and as it goes into prior years, it won't really matter to me.
Right.
So, so shout out to him. I know you're listening. Of course you are. All right. Well, is that all you got for Boston and
That's
Florida?
all I got. I don't see Florida getting out of this.
I don't see Florida winning another game. Honestly,
what did we say? Did we say Boston in 6?
Something like that. Yeah. I think I could amend that to Boston in 5. But...
I mean, I can amend that to Boston in 5. Did we say
We almost forgot. Krejci hasn't played the last 2 games for Boston either.
He didn't play in the first 2 games. He is back and playing.
Is he?
Yes, he is playing.
I thought he didn't play Game 3 either because no, he definitely didn't play Game 3 because I was watching that game and I was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity for Florida to steal at least 1 game here because both of their top centers aren't playing. And it's like, and then Florida just shit the bed.
So I will also say, Charlie McAvoy has after Florida stomped them in that game 2.
Yeah,
he stepped up with your number one, your captain out, your number 1 assistant captain out. He stepped up and became a huge leader on that team and really just locked shit down.
He's number 73 on the ice, but he's number 1 in your hearts. Charlie McAvoy.
He's a thick boy.
He's a thick boy. All right, any more thoughts on that so far?
Watch some of the big hits in Game 4 because Boston started laying pipe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Charlie McAvoy did specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
who did he hit? He just exploded
Kachuk.
somebody. Was it? Oh, it was Kachuk. You're right. Yeah. He just clean hit. That's not what we're saying.
And then he flipped Stahl.
Yeah. He just crushed Kachuk in the defensive zone.
Yeah.
No, in the offensive zone.
It was defensive. He had come back from the offensive
Oh, you're right.
zone.
You're right. So yeah, some good clean hits by Boston.
Yes.
Florida.
And they are just
being some dirt bags.
Yeah, Boston's just laying the hammer down right now.
Yeah, it's not surprising. Well, let's move on. We got so many more series to talk about.
Yep.
New Jersey and the Rangers. Now, let me guys tell you how disappointed I am with the Devils. I am so disappointed with the Devils. Because if you guys remember correctly from the last episode, I thought that they were going to come out, they were going to punch the Rangers right in the face, they have all this offensive power, and they were gonna just tank the Rangers. Nope. Yes, Clay.
I said the Rangers.
Yeah.
I also expected more from the Devils.
Yeah. So Game 1, Rangers win 5-1, 2 for 3 on the power play. Devils were 0 for 4 on the power play. Kreider 2 goals, Fox 4 assists, Hedel a goal and an assist. Tarasenko and Lindgren had the other 2 goals, and Jack Hughes had the only goal for the Devils. The Rangers had complete control of this game.
The Devils looked like deers in the headlights.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And they looked completely shell-shocked.
And you know what? It did not get better because in Game 2, the Rangers won again 5-1, where they completely controlled the game again.
Oh, they actually did better this game than they did in the first game.
2 for 7 on the power play were the Rangers. Well, the Devils were 1 for 4. Patrick Kane had a goal and 2 assists. Kreider 2 goals again in this game, and Fox had 2 assists. Well,
Howla had the only goal for the Devils.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Yikes and double yikes in these first 2 games for the Devils on home ice in New Jersey.
Yeah, so what I saw about this, especially, so this is kind of Lindy Ruff specialty.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
So statistically, game 1, Devils did not play that bad. The Rangers punished the Rangers.
They just punished every mistake.
The Rangers punished every mistake. They were just jumped on every chance. The Rangers just had all that puck luck.
Yep.
In the game 1. So instead of doing
Sorry. It's just one of my alarms.
Instead of keeping things the same, hoping that puck luck would be better in game 2, he changed everything up. Devils were completely out of sync,
worse.
And then the Rangers just rammed it home.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, hey, here's the thing. The Devils did turn it around in Game 3. They won it 2-1 in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
They were outshot by the Rangers 36-28 in that game. Devils were 1 for 3 on the power play, while the Rangers were 0 for 5. So kept them off the scoreboard on the power play, which is huge.
Yep.
Dougie Hamilton had the overtime game winner and the assist. Jesper Bratt 2 assists. Hughes the other goal. And is it Akira Schmid?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's something like that. Akira Schmid.
This is a big part of it, too.
Rookie goaltender, 35 of 36. Big game by him.
Switched up the goaltender.
Yeah, big game by Schmid. I would assume he will be playing unless he gets just lit up tonight.
This might be like one of their, like a black ace type deals.
Maybe.
You bring it
Well,
in.
he's played a few games this year, Schmid has, but this is obviously, I think this is the best performance.
It might
this
be
is
Schmid.
Schmid. Just so you got, it's either Schmid or Schmid. It's SCHMID.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Schmid. But yeah, big game. He's the first rookie goaltender to play for the Devils since Martin Brodeur.
And if he does
that sink in.
If he does the same thing as Martin Brodeur,
I hate him.
I hate him already.
I hate him already. Chris Kreider had the 1 goal for the Rangers in that game.
This was the first time that the Devils were able to shut down the Rangers' offense.
Yeah. So yeah, they got that win in overtime. That's a big win.
We'll see what happens at the Garden
did
tonight.
Certainly start getting chippy here in Game 3 as well. And the away team has
home
won.
ice is lava right now.
Yeah, the away team has won every game so far in the series. Nico Hischier looked like he put his glove on around a guy's throat. I don't think he actually choked him because I think he would have got kicked out because he did it right in front of a ref too. But he put his glove right on the collarbones of the guy right near his throat. And I was like, no way. We had 2 people be choked so far in the first round. So, yeah, Game 4 of that series is tonight in probably like a half-ish hour.
Yep.
That's going to start from when we're recording. So we'll see if the Devils can even up the series and just make it a best of 3.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to keep going with another game
Finish
tonight.
off East.
Other game tonight is Toronto-Tampa Bay. This started chippy. This has
been bitter hatred throughout
the entire time. All right, so game 1. We know that Toronto lost to Tampa in 7 games last year.
Yeah.
In a close and kind of bitter series.
Mm-hmm.
So I said my prediction was Toronto in 6, that they would come out and punch Tampa in the mouth because of how much they wanted it. Game 1 made me question fucking everything because Tampa Bay was the one who came out and punched Toronto right on the nose.
And I will say a fairly disgusting performance by Toronto.
It was
in
bad.
This game.
It was
really bad.
So bad.
What was the final score? Was it 7-3?
7-3. Yeah. They put up a touchdown and an extra point.
Yep.
In the playoffs.
I remember I was watching this separately from you, but I was texting you. I was like, what is Toronto doing?
It wasn't their best.
They're like not even there.
Wasn't their best. Samsonov did say he played like shit.
That's fair.
Is a quote.
Yeah, hey. At least he owned it.
Tavares complained about the refs a little bit.
Ugh,
and then it was just like, dude, they put up a 7 spot.
It's okay. Toronto got an actual captain at the deadline in Ryan O'Reilly. So
yes, they did.
So I'm just saying.
They needed that.
I would love him to be on the Penguins next year.
So, like I mentioned, 7-3. Samsonov played the entire game. Then Vasilevsky played like playoff Vasilevsky.
He did give up 3 goals, but I think at least one of those was in garbage time.
It was 28 saves for 31 shots, barely above 900. Wall did play at the end there. Toronto was 2 for 4 on the power play.
On that pow.
Fortunately, they were 4 for 8 on the penalty kill. So that's where so many of those goals came from. Both teams.
8 penalties, though.
Both teams were 50%.
Yeah.
On the special teams.
8 penalties, Toronto.
8 penalties.
Yikes, baby.
Well, a big one was a 5-minute major.
Oh, that's right. I forgot something.
Of Michael Bunting.
Yeah. Oh, he deserved it.
Elbowing Cernak in the head.
Yeah, he deserved that, though.
He got 5 in a game. Completely deserved. I don't understand how he was complaining while he was getting thrown out.
Because they always complain when they're like, "Oh, what? Well, his head shouldn't have been there then."
I hate Bunting.
Yeah, he's
He is a pest, and he's good at being a pest, and he knows that's part of his game. I hate him. Between those types of hits, the blatant flops.
Yeah, he's one of those kind of players.
I just hate him. And also he is...
Well, he got suspended for 3 games after that, too.
There it is.
Yeah.
He is very much reaping the benefits of playing on the top line.
Oh, absolutely. He's playing on a line with Matthews and Marner.
Right.
Who each had either 100 points or close to 100 points. Well, Matthews had like 80 points, but
Matthews
he had 40
had 80.
goals or something.
Yeah.
So like
he was
whatever.
He was 40, 45.
Yeah.
And Marner was 99
Yeah,
points.
you put a guy like Bunting on like Arizona, I don't think anybody is even paying attention to him.
He's a free agent this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Someone's going to overpay.
Oh, sure.
We'll
Might
see
be
what
the Penguins.
happens. We'll see what happens.
Might be the Penguins. Once they signed Kyle Dubas to be their GM. I need Toronto to lose so that can happen, please.
Hedman did also leave injured. I did not see what happened to him.
I don't know. He might have just blocked a shot or something.
It was another kind of head injury.
He came back for the next game.
Game 3.
Game 3. He came back for game 3.
He came back for game 3. Yes. Bunting got that 5 in a game.
Plus 3 more games.
Plus 3 more games.
Yeah, he hasn't played yet again.
Which a lot of Toronto is fine with.
I mean, what happened in game 2? Minus the Bunting.
Corey Perry had a goal and 2 assists.
I always forget Corey Perry's on Tampa Bay, and then it makes so much sense that he's on Tampa Bay.
The fourth line ran game 1.
Yeah.
Bellemire got the first goal of the game.
Yep.
Off a Perry
Perry's
rebound.
On top of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fourth line just controlled it.
They have a good fourth line.
So yeah, that's game 1. Game 2.
Flip that bitch.
Toronto brought it back.
Uno reverse card by Toronto.
Uno reverse card. Toronto puts up a 7 spot. They put up a 7 spot to Tampa Bay's 2 goals. Samsonov back in net. Vasilevsky played the entire game. So Vasilevsky ended with an 8-11 save percentage. Toronto is 2 for 6 on the power play. Riley had 4 assists in this game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's up there.
Morgan Riley. Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Fox had the same stat lines in a couple of games.
Shots wise, Toronto outshot Tampa Bay 37-22, and then penalty minutes wise, that cannot be right.
Here, I can double check for you.
Cannot be right. Tampa Bay has to have 49, and Toronto had 23. Maroon got kicked out of the game.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
Perry got kicked out of the game.
Perry got kicked out of the game.
Yes, Tampa Bay had 49 penalty minutes and
after
Toronto's 23.
Perry was the voice of reason in this game.
Yeah, I don't actually know why he got kicked out.
I don't either.
As opposed to Maroon. Maroon probably should have gotten kicked out.
Maroon tried to hit a fan with a stick in the penalty box.
Yes, he should not have done that. I want to see what happened, why he was doing that, though.
Perry caught it and looked smooth doing it. Like
he did. He just batted it down. He was like, nope. He was like, don't do that.
Nope. And then he got kicked.
He was like, I'm off for yelling at fans, but don't do that.
Yeah,
you put that down.
So it was, and then this is kind of where the Goonie.
From everything that I have read of people saying that they were at that game, was whoever that fan was maybe trying to scale the glass. He also got kicked out of the game, obviously.
Yeah, he was at the glass. Who
I don't know,
really
because the video is like not. It doesn't show really what happened.
Phil Esposito called a woman fat or a man with a long hair.
Phil, as a man with long hair, shut up, Phil Esposito. But also, if you listen to that call, Phil Esposito sounds so drunk.
Oh, he's so drunk.
He's like, I don't know if that's a fat woman or a man with hair. You can't tell anymore. That's literally what he said.
Yes.
And the cadence of how he said it. And nobody answered him. They were just like, all right.
You slurred a little bit more than he did.
I guess, but
that is
he had the cadence of a drunk man. He didn't slur as much as I did. I put a little English on it, but
yeah, no, that was on broadcast. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I watched that back. I was like, no, he did not say that on live television.
Yes, that's worse than Jack Edwards calling Maroon fat.
Oh yeah, because he's just talking about some random lady who was talking at the team or whoever was in the penalty box. She was like shit talking him, but she wasn't doing anything bad.
No,
everybody gets shit talked at sports games. Calm down, Phil Esposito. Oh man.
From what I saw, the guy was not trying to scale the glass, but he was banging on the glass, which is not allowed.
Yeah, and then I saw somebody say, "Oh, beer got poured on them," but then it didn't. There's no evidence of that happening, and so I don't know. It's not clear why Maroon was doing that.
It's not like Domi jumped the glass, but you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, you shouldn't be getting rattled like that by just random ass people.
It's like the Angels player, Rondon. Was it Rondon?
Oh yeah, it was. It was Carlos Rondon.
Who grabbed the A's fan for calling him a bitch. He grabbed him by his shirt. Yeah, he grabbed him by his shirt. Yeah. And then he got suspended for 10 games or something like that. Yeah, crazy look in his eye.
He did. He did. Man. Yeah, that was.
I would have been terrible.
Like, oh no.
If I was the guy who had my shirt grabbed, I would have been pissing myself.
You okay?
If she wants attention.
No, she was just like snorting over there and like coughing a little bit. But now she wants attention.
Hey. Yeah, I would have been pissing myself if I was that guy.
Yeah, a pro athlete grabbing me by the shirt, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna die."
Oh, it's like, it's like when I can't think of his real name. When Meta World Peace, Ron Artest.
Ron Artest, yeah.
Was charging that one dude in the stands.
Yep.
And he pointed to...
And it wasn't even the right guy.
He was pointing to another guy. He's like, that wasn't me. But you could see the fear in his eyes. Like, it wasn't me. As
Ruthie,
he
thoughts
got
on
his
Pat Maroon?
ass kicked. Oh.
Thoughts on Pat Maroon, Ruth? No?
Bitch.
Why won't you talk on command?
All right, so that's game 2.
Game 2.
Game 2, Uno reverse card by Toronto.
Yeah. I thought of that the other night. Yeah. I was like, I can't wait for the podcast. I'm going to say that.
And then game 3, Toronto wins in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Tampa Bay 4-3. Samsonov made 36 of 39 saves, while Vasilevsky only made 23 of 27.
Sorry.
This was a game where Tampa Bay actually was the better team.
Yeah, they controlled more of the push, but Samsonov played very well.
They were the better team, but this is one of the games that historically Toronto loses.
Yeah.
So the fact that they got that win is a big deal.
And I'm just saying, they got Ryan O'Reilly.
Shots wise, they were outshot. Toronto was outshot 39-27. Hits 62-61.
Yeah,
they were throwing lumber.
Yeah, that was a lot of hits.
In this game, so the big controversy here, which is what I was going to talk about, was Riley and Point awkwardly go into the boards.
Kind of slammed into the boards, yeah. Was it Riley or O'Reilly?
It was Riley.
Okay.
Because Riley scored the game winner.
Yes.
So Point goes into the boards hard.
Yeah.
He leaves the game. He does come back.
He kind of got jammed. His shoulders got jammed.
Yeah, it looked like it was a broken collarbone.
Yeah. He did come back and play though.
He did. So right away they do call a 5-minute major against Riley for boarding.
I don't know.
No, this is good. This is good. So they call a boarding right away. Kucherov and there is a scrum.
Sure, of course.
Kucherov jumps Riley. Kind of by the way the scrum looks, it looks like Toronto's going to go on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
Matthews is there.
Oh, that's right.
Matthews is skating around, picking up sticks to make sure no one trips over it in the scrum. He's not involved at all.
Oops. Sorry.
Stamkos has a line. The referee has Stamkos by the jersey. Stamkos makes a beeline for Matthews, jumps him.
Yeah. Did you have Stamkos and Matthews fighting each other on your bingo card? Because I didn't.
No, I did not. But Matthews does defend himself a little bit.
Yeah. He threw a punch in there.
He threw a punch. Stamkos gets a lot of punches in while Matthews is on the ground with the ref on top of him, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of, that's
so
Tampa Bay.
Both get 5 for fighting. Matthews is out on the power play. Is not going to be a part of the power play. After the review of the major for boarding, there is no penalty on the play. So now Toronto is on the power play.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yes, that's right. Because I remember seeing a highlight Riley was told to go to the locker room because I think it was with less than 5 minutes left in the period.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, JK, come on back." And he got to come back in. But he was his face was all bloody because somebody had punched him in the face.
It was Kucherov.
Yeah.
So this is what Sheldon Keefe brought up about game management and how Tampa's good at it.
Yeah.
Oh,
right. Yes.
So they'll pick and choose certain clips of the entire quote to make it seem like.
Of course, it's just
Keefe
a thing.
Is just
it's
whining.
just a thing that media does.
But Keefe
it's really
was
annoying.
Very articulate, explained it very well. Basically, hey, Stamkos knew by the way things were looking that
they were probably going to be on the penalty kill.
They were going to be on the penalty kill. These guys are so worried. These refs are so worried about affecting the game. They're not going to go. They're not going to call another penalty on a Lightning player to make it a 5-on-3.
Yep.
So I'm going to jump Matthews
to take him out of it,
to make sure one of their top goal scorers is not on the ice for the power play.
Yeah. Yes, I believe the phrase he used.
Such a good job.
I believe the phrase he used was manipulate the referees.
Yes, that's what it was.
Which he is not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Not wrong.
And he basically said that is a championship team.
Yeah. Doing
such a good job at knowing the game.
Yeah. I mean, he's right.
He's right.
He is 100%. Right. Yeah.
So, and that's what I mean why he put the refs on notice without necessarily putting a target on his team's back.
Sure. Yeah. He's like, they're kind of manipulating you guys. They're gaslighting you guys into, putting Matthews into the box too.
Right.
When he didn't need to be there.
Nope.
Honestly, Stamkos didn't really need to be there either. But Stamkos decided I'm not going to be a penalty killer anyway. So
right. So I'm not a penalty killer.
I'll sacrifice myself, take out both sides.
Yeah. Because it should have been a 5-on-3 for an instigator.
Pretty cerebral move if you think about it by Stamkos.
So smart.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty smart move.
And Stamkos is one of those sneakily greasy guys.
Oh sure.
That will do that because.
But that'll break his leg. So.
What, last year he shot a puck at a ref?
Was that him?
Yeah.
Oh, Stamkos.
Oh, Stamkos. But
he's been hanging out with Kucherov too much.
He's got 3 rings. Two rings.
2 rings.
2 rings. My bad.
2 rings. Been to 3 championships
That's what
in
it
a row.
is. He's got his name on the cup.
And another championship
twice.
before that too. Actually, yeah. They lost one to Chicago years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Many years ago.
Yes. I thought you were saying he won. It's just like
No. Yeah. He won back in 2004 with Marty St. Louis and
exactly.
Vincent LeCoble. Yeah.
Broke my brain.
I think that was 2004.
Yes, it was.
All right.
That's
Any
me.
final thoughts for that so far?
We'll
see what bloodbath tonight is.
We'll see what the bloodbath tonight is. I hope Toronto wins. It's one of those. It's just like
I don't. I want Kyle Dubas.
I was going as a neutral, and now I want Toronto. And I definitely don't want Pittsburgh to have Kyle Dubas because he's an excellent GM, except for 1 or 2 signings.
Yeah, and it's honestly not his fault that Toronto is underachieved. He's not the coach, But let me just say, because I've been joking about that, that's only a rumor.
It is a rumor.
Dubas's contract with Toronto is up at the end of the year. Regardless of what happens, he might re-sign in Toronto.
Yes.
For all anybody knows. But
the rumor is the Fenway Sports Group,
who own Pittsburgh, are going to back a dump truck load of money in front of him.
Yes.
And be like, you can come and totally run the team however you want.
Run it. Yep.
And I would love that.
That's kind of hard to say no to.
That would be hard to say no to because Pittsburgh is a prestigious franchise.
Also, Dubas got into it with a fan.
He did, yeah, right after the Riley hit.
Yeah.
He was up in the press box, like, I don't know, cheering on the scrum or something.
Yeah.
And somebody said something to him, and he ripped back at them. I don't know that you can hear what he's saying.
He called him a real fucking hero.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So even more reason I want him to be GM of Pittsburgh. So that's just a rumor. I'm just joking. I would take him as the general manager or president of hockey operation, whatever.
I would hate it. As a captain.
Yeah, so that would make me even more happy.
It's one of those things where it's just like, oh, the East is just getting worse.
Yeah, right.
Worse.
But like, I've seen some Pittsburgh pundits being like, "Who wants this job?" They're like, "What? What do you mean? You have a core of aged but star players who all had pretty good years this year. Yeah, the depth is a mess, but you have a good coaching staff too."
And Pittsburgh media, compared to Toronto,
is much nicer.
You ain't
they're
shit.
still dicks, but you can just like ignore them.
Yeah.
Because they'll just talk shit on Twitter, and you can be like, I don't care about you.
I don't have Twitter. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to Dallas and Minnesota. This has been a good series so far.
It's been
a hell of a series.
With fun series to watch.
One specific very weird decision by Minnesota, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Game 1, Minnesota wins 3-2 in double overtime. This series, by the way, is tied at 2.
Yes.
4 games in, tied at 2. Double overtime on opening night of the playoffs.
Yes. Oh my God.
Baby.
I don't know how Hartman had anything left in the tank.
I know, man. Christ. He had the overtime game winner. Sam Steele also had a goal and assist in this game. Gustafsson, 51 of 53. What a game by him.
Dude was playing out of his mind.
Minnesota was
That's the decision. There we go. I'm back.
Minnesota was 1 for 4 on the power play, while Dallas was 2 for 5 on the power play. Both of their goals coming on the power play, obviously. Mm-hmm. Robertson and Robe Hintz each had those goals. And hey, Ottinger, not to be outdone, was 45 of 48.
No, he played great.
He played great too. And now let's talk. We do have to talk about the Dumba hit on Pavelski. That it was not dirty.
Clean.
And it was a clean hit. It was just an unfortunate fall by Pavelski.
So looking at that fall a couple of times, Hartman is skating in line with Pavelski. Mm-hmm. When Dumba comes in to crash into Pavelski, he actually hits Hartman's stick into Pavelski's face.
Oh,
which is why he gets that snap back of the head.
Okay, so maybe it's not quite as bad.
So
what happened was Dumba hit Pavelski pretty hard, but it was a clean hit. I think it was shoulder on shoulder hit.
Not just legal, clean.
Clean, totally clean. And unfortunately, what happened was Pavelski kind of fell in a weird way, and it looked like he hit his head on the ice. I think he did hit his head.
No, his head was the first thing to land on the ice.
And luckily, they wear helmets, but those only mitigate some of the damage.
Mm-hmm.
Pavelski has not played in this series since. There's no major updates about him. Hopefully he's fine.
He is was so concussed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he...
But again, Dumba, it was a clean hit. 100% clean hit.
So, yeah.
Just unfortunate fall.
I had to watch that hit multiple times because I was so confused by the way Dumba hit him and why Pavelski's head snapped back, which is why he got that back rotation to land on his head. I just didn't understand it, and then I saw the stick hit him in the face as well.
Look out, John Boy.
Look out.
We got a new video review, man.
John Boy...
Clayboy.
Is going to watch this and basically see Pavelski's just like, where am I? Yeah. Like, because that would, you could read that clear as day.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, yeah. So, Minnesota, 3-2 double overtime victory. Gustafsson, I would like to point out again, 51 of 53. So what does Minnesota do? They start what?
Suter was the one who was cross-checking the hell out of Kaprizov in this game? Yeah, okay. Yeah. It was Suter.
It was Suter. And what does Minnesota do in game 2? They start Marc-Andre Fleury.
Let's switch up the goalies.
For some reason. We won the first game. Now, the only reasoning I can think of is the coach he did say, he was like, well, we've been rotating the goalies the entire year.
It was double overtime. He could have been tired.
I was like, okay,
that's
maybe
the only
he's
valid reason.
We played a double overtime game. Yes, it was 2 days ago, but Gustafsson could use some rest. Fine. But I don't know. I don't know about that.
It's the same thing last year when Cam Talbot was hot going into the playoffs and they sat him for Fleury.
Yeah, I just don't.
Because they sold for Fleury last year.
Yeah, I don't know. So unfortunately, this game did not go Minnesota's way. Not Detroit. They're not in the playoffs. Dallas wins game 2, 7-3.
This is the football. This is the defensive football game.
Dallas 3 for 6 on the power play, and Minnesota 1 for 5 on the power play. Rope Hintz had a hat trick and an assist. Heiskanen had 4 assists. That's 3 defensemen in this first round so far that have had 4 assist games. Dadonov had 2 goals. Robertson and Ben each had 2 points in that game. For Minnesota, Sundqvist, Gaudreau, and Johansson had the goals. Duba and Nyquist each had 2 assists. It's a puzzling move to start Marc-Andre Fleury. I know, blah, blah, blah. We've been rotating them the whole year.
They played 4 games?
Yeah.
They didn't make that mistake again.
No, they didn't. But I just want to say, objectively, if you look at their stats lines, Gustafsson had a much better season.
Yeah.
With a more or less equal amount of games played. Gustafsson had a 920, 925 save percentage and a low 3s goals against average.
With 5 shutouts or something stupid.
That were much better than Marc-Andre Fleury's numbers. So I love Marc-Andre Fleury. I think he'll probably be a Hall of Famer. But he's doing 39 or something at this point. Play Gustafsson.
Gustafsson just played his heart out in the game 1.
And you sat him in game 2. Well, luckily for you, he came back in and played very well in game 3, where Minnesota won 5-1. 1 for 4 on the power play was Minnesota in there. Hartman had a goal and 2 assists. Zuccarello, 2 goals. Foligno, Hartman. What? I wrote Hartman again. Foligno and Johansson each had a goal as well. Yes. I think I put Hartman in 2 places. Dallas, Glendening had the only goal for them. They were 0 for 2 on the power play. And Gustafsson was in there, only gave up 1 goal. And he was like, can I have this goal now?
Right.
Are you going to start me for all of the playoffs now?
This is mine now. Thank you.
So he started game 4 as well. Dallas did take this game, very close game, 3-2. This game was. Minnesota won 1 for 4 on the power play. Klingberg had a goal and an assist in this game for Minnesota. Dallas 2 for 3 on the power play.
Yeah.
Tyler Seguin sighting.
Yeah.
2 goals in this game.
Yeah.
Big goals by Seguin. While Rope Hintz had 3 assists in this one. This series has been chippy, but not on the insane levels that the Eastern Conference games have been.
Foligno's getting weird calls.
Foligno's getting worked in a bunch of those games. Oh,
weird calls against specifically.
Yeah, he's had 2 penalties against. I think he got high sticked in one of the games, and he got called for a penalty.
He didn't get high sticked. He missed because I watched this.
Yeah, I might not have been paying attention to this game.
So
I just remember looking up and I was like, why is he bleeding in the penalty box?
He went for a check. He missed. He tried to lead him and the guy stopped short and then he threw his arm up over. So like his stick didn't hit him in the face. The Dallas player's stick didn't hit him in the face, but his like arm catches him.
Oh, okay.
And he got hurt crashing into the boards. So like the visor cut his nose.
Gotcha.
And they called him for tripping.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird calls.
If anything, it was just a no call. Like there was no penalty on the play.
It was just like, oh, okay.
There's no penalty.
Not tripping on Foligno.
There was just no penalty.
Weird. It's strange.
You're talking game 4 now?
Yes, I'm on game 4. Well, I've already pretty much finished game 4. But
this could go either way.
Yes, I will say that. I want to backtrack to New Jersey, New York really quick because I wanted to mention in game 3 where New Jersey won, Timo Meier is getting the shit beat out of him.
He is.
He's just getting cross-checked. He's getting hit to the ice. He's just like looking like he's just turtling. He's just like, oh, someone help me, please.
Just someone call it,
He's
please.
getting checked into Shesterkin, and then Shesterkin is punching him in the back of the head with his blocker because he knocked him over.
Right.
And it wasn't even his fault that he fell into Shesterkin.
Yeah, Myers is just getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, Timo Meier's getting his ass kicked. He's not played particularly well for the Devils.
He is not.
I would say a lot of the big trade deadline acquisitions haven't really been turning out that well. O'Reilly is maybe the best one.
Yeah.
Kane and Tarasenko have been fine for the Rangers.
They've been good in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've been good in the playoffs.
Which is why they got him.
But like guys like Tanner Jeannot, Timo Meier, Bo Horvat. Now, some of these trades happened before the trade deadline, but
right. But still, like
the trade season.
Yeah.
These guys are just like not doing. They're just kind of there,
right?
You know, like Timo Meier has scored here and there. Bo Horvat has scored here and there.
Literally nothing for Carolina.
Well, that's not surprising, honestly. It just doesn't seem like it's been a fruitful trade deadline, you know.
But that happens.
It happens sometimes, you know. Sometimes those big trades just don't work out. Now, Timo Meier might work out in the long run if he re-signs with the Devils.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for that one.
All right. So first, we're going to talk about Colorado and Seattle. Now, this we both said was a Colorado.
Yeah. We just didn't see Seattle.
I said 5. You said.
I think I might have said. I can look back. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I think one of us said 5. The other said 6. Or maybe I said sweep. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I might have changed it.
All right. So game 1.
I changed it to sweep, but it wasn't a sweep, and you said 5.
Okay. Yep.
Both for Colorado.
Game 1, Seattle takes it.
Yeah, they did.
3-1. Grubauer stands on his head.
Seattle looked good in this game.
Georgiev played very well.
I will say, Seattle has really taken it to Colorado.
Yes.
These games have been relatively close.
We'll kind of talk about kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
In the game 1 for Seattle, Venberg had a goal and assist, but Ellie Tolvanen.
Yes, Ellie Tolvanen.
Ellie Tolvanen scores.
I think I've said Eli before, but it's
both.
Ellie. I've heard on the broadcast.
Scores Seattle's first playoff goal.
Tolvanen of all people scored it. Yeah. Some guy that they just picked off of waivers halfway through the season.
There's not much to really say about this game. Just kind of
a game.
Kind of a game that Seattle ended up winning 3-1. Game 2, Colorado takes it.
Yes.
3-2. Grubauer was 38 for 41, so he played it very well.
Yeah, Grubauer has not been the issue, really.
Georgiev has played great, like he was doing for the regular season. Colorado was 2 down. Down 2-0 to start the third period.
Yeah, that's right.
And they battled back. Taves scored the game-winning goal.
He did.
And then one of Seattle's 2 goals was a shorthanded. So 2 for 2. At this point, 2 for 2 with a shorthanded goal. At this point, 2 games in, there have been no power play goals, just 1 shorthanded goal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, game 3, Seattle loses again, 4-6.
Yeah.
This was way more.
Wheels came off a little bit more in this game. Yeah.
Colorado just taking it to them.
Yeah.
Colorado starts by scoring a shorthanded goal as well. So we're halfway into the third game, and both teams have a shorthanded goal before they have a power play. Now that does change. Seattle scores a power play goal at the end of the game in garbage time, but
doesn't matter.
Jaden Sports has 2 goals for Seattle in this game.
I believe he scored the first and last goal for Seattle.
You are correct. Yeah. And then Nathan McKinnon had 2 goals.
He's so good.
Oh my God! So they were tied at 3-3 going into the third period, and then the wheels kind of just came off. In this series, in this 3 games, Seattle has scored first in all 3 games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Seattle's in game 3, while Seattle scored first, Colorado responded with 2 of their own to end the first period with 2-1, but it was 3-3 going into the third period there. So both teams are going back and forth. It does seem like Colorado underestimated Seattle in game 1.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you can't do that in the playoffs.
Shouldn't underestimate anybody in the playoffs.
No, not at all. So, unfortunately, Colorado spoils Seattle's home playoff opener.
Yeah.
That was the one that my brother was at.
I will say, Seattle's jerseys, god damn, they look good.
They look really good. Colorado...
Home jerseys, specifically.
Colorado is looking like Colorado.
Yeah, they woke up after game 1.
Yeah, it does seem like
they're like, oh yeah,
take the series.
Right.
I mean, they're starting slow. Seattle's starting
we'll
fast.
We'll see. Except for game 3, where Seattle was in it at certain points. Seattle has been in the other 2. Obviously, they won one of those games.
Yeah.
They've been giving Colorado a lot to handle.
Seattle has been in it. In the 2 games they lost, they were either winning or they were tied in the third period.
Yeah.
It's just that finishing this game. Unfortunately, Nichushkin is out. He has left the Avalanche for personal reasons.
Oh, that sucks.
Security escorted him to the airport. Like, he is gone. And he's played all 3 games. There's just they're not elaborating further. And that was today.
That's really strange.
Yes. So conspiracy theories are gonna swirl.
I mean, who knows what it is? The security detail taking him to that could just be them trying to get him there as fast as possible. He might have had a family emergency.
Exactly. So it could be family. We hope everything's good with his family.
Yeah.
And
or he might be a spy for Russia.
Yeah.
And if that's the case,
he's got to go
to The Hague.
Well,
to Guantanamo Bay.
It's one of those things.
I hope everything's okay.
For personal reasons, for a player to leave during the playoffs, it's
got to be bad.
Big deal.
Yeah, it's got to be
especially bad. Nichushkin, who played through like his leg falling apart last year.
So hopefully everything is okay.
But it's very interesting to see what will happen game 4 tonight with Nichushkin out, and not that he's out. It's just the suddenness.
Some of their top players, and it's weird that he's gone, and who knows what's going on,
Right, the players might know what's going on, but probably the weirdness.
The Colorado players probably know what's happening.
The weirdness of that might affect the Colorado players.
Yeah. So, certainly.
And suddenness, so that they might be off their game a little bit. So we'll see what.
Hopefully everything's okay.
Seattle can do.
Hopefully everything's okay.
I'm
so glad we're gonna end with that one. That was good planning on your part.
It's intentional.
That was good planning on your part. So let's move on to Vegas and Winnipeg. 3 games in, Vegas is up 2-1 in this series. Winnipeg took game 1 and looked dominant
in that
game 1.
We both said Vegas.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm still saying Vegas.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm very much questioning it as solidly as I was beforehand.
Yeah. Winnipeg took game 1 5-1.
Kicked the shit out of them.
They outshot Vegas 31-17. 17 shots in the playoff game. Winnipeg was 1 for 3 on the power play. Excuse me. Wheeler had a goal and 2 assists. Lowry 2 goals. Niederreiter had 2 assists. My goodness, excuse me. And Pierre-Luc Dubois had a goal and an assist.
Mm-hmm.
Carlson had the only goal for Vegas, and they were 0 for 3 on the power play. And this is the Morgan Barron took a skate to the face. So there was a scrum in front of the net.
It wasn't a scrum. It was a fight for the puck.
Yeah,
the puck was loose.
A puck scrum. They were trying to get the puck. Sorry, I should have said that.
Yeah.
Better. And Morgan Barron was at like the back of the pile of guys trying to fight for the puck.
Problem was, so was Brissois.
So is Brissois' skate. And Barron was like kind of hunched down, and then somebody kind of knocked into him, and that unfortunately put his face into Brissois' skate.
Pushed him right into that skate.
And he had to get 75 stitches on his face.
See,
thankfully, he is okay.
He's fine.
It's just a big nasty cut on his face, but his eye, everything else is fine.
He came back to the game.
Yeah, so he's okay.
He was wearing a full cage.
But that's scary, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy,
and
on such an innocuous thing. It didn't even look that violent. He just kind of got like pressed up onto it.
Oh, he pushed Brissois' foot away because of what happened. They're using that incident in promos. I saw it.
Really?
On promos.
It's so crazy.
I'm also confused with the 75 stitches.
That's what I read.
No, I saw that everywhere.
Yeah.
Looking at his face, I can count like 30 to 40. And now there very much could be some internal stitches, but I can't imagine 30 internal stitches in there.
You never know. I don't know how deep that cut went.
It's still crazy.
It was a nasty cut, but thankfully he is okay. His eye is fine.
He's played. I believe he's scored since.
Maybe.
Might have gotten a point or two. I'm not sure.
But silver lining for Barron, they took game 1 5-1.
Yeah.
Moving on to game 2, Vegas looked much better in this game. 5-2 was the end score. Vegas 0 for 4 on the power play again, while Winnipeg was 1 for 3. Mark Stone, 2 goals and an assist. Big game by Mark Stone.
Got stoned on 420.
He got stoned on 420. Stevenson and Carlson each had a goal and an assist. And Jack Eichel scored his first playoff goal in his second playoff game.
I can't wait till Buffalo makes the playoffs next year so Jeff Skinner can have his first playoff game after 1,000 games played.
Oh, that's so sad for Jeff Skinner.
I know.
It makes me so sad.
Kruger's a hockey terrorist.
Kruger's a hockey terrorist. Jeff Skinner had 35 goals this year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Nobody's mentioned it at all.
No.
And he had 40 last year or something. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Once they got rid of Ralph Kruger.
Yeah, I think he had 30 last year. I don't think he hit the same heights.
No, either way. He had 30. Yeah. So, Ralph Kruger's a hockey terrorist.
He is. Let's get this offensive goal scorer on the fourth line to play defense.
Yeah, right, exactly. Heading into the third period of this game was still pretty close, but I think it was tied at 2 heading into the third. But Vegas just took over in the third period. Yeah, specifically Mark Stone. Mark Stone, I believe, scored the last 2 goals of this game for Vegas to just turn out the lights on Winnipeg on that one. Heading into Game 3, the series was tied at 1 apiece.
Yes.
And this game took 2 overtimes to
You had 2 overtimes.
I had 2 double overtime games this week. Vegas takes it 5-4 in double overtime, and I actually got to see this because this was an afternoon game.
Yeah, it was.
Well, technically. It was technically an afternoon game for Vegas. I think it was like a 6 o'clock game here.
Like, Vegas blew a 4-1 lead.
We're on the East Coast, but...
Yeah. Vegas was had a 4-1 lead that they blew.
Yes, they did blow that, yeah. They blew a 4-1 lead in the third period to Winnipeg. But Vegas outshot them 48-34. They were 2 for 5 on the power play, while Winnipeg was 1 for 4 on the power play. Eichel had 2 goals and an assist in this game. Amadio is your hero, giving that overtime game winner plus an assist. Stevenson and Pietrangelo each had 2 points as well. Pionk, 3 assists. He had an assist on all 3 of the goals in the third period that tied the game at 4. Kyle Connor had a goal and an assist, but unfortunately, Josh Morrissey was injured in this game.
Yeah, he was.
No word that I've seen about the injury thus far, but
they said he was out for the series.
Oh, did they?
They said he was out for the series.
Oh, that really sucks for Winnipeg.
It was a knee on knee. He walked off and walked down the tunnel, but they said he was out for the series.
That is pretty bad for Winnipeg.
Yep.
He was one of their better players in a year where, I think I mentioned this before, I don't think anybody expected. And, yeah, that sucks. Hopefully it's not super serious. And maybe if Winnipeg pulls it off, maybe he can come back for round 2.
Right. All right, so we're going to finish with Los Angeles versus Edmonton Oilers.
This has been a hell of a series so far.
This has been so much fun, and I just hate that it's on the West Coast.
Time zones are stupid.
Yes. All right, so game 1, Los Angeles takes it in overtime.
Yes, they did.
They were down 3-1 in the third period, battled back, sent it to overtime, and won it in overtime. Korpisalo is basically been the reason that they're in these games.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Korpisalo playing well,
and the rampant stupidity by Edmonton.
The series would be over because Edmonton has been outplaying
for the most part,
the Kings almost this entire time. The Kings were 2 for 6 on the power play. That was to tie it and to win it. Those were their 2 power play goals. 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Kopitar had 5 points.
That's crazy. Did he have 4 points?
Who?
What was the score of the game?
My bad. Kopitar had a goal and 3 assists.
Okay. I was going to say there's no possible way he had 5 points in that game.
They had a goal taken back. What can I say?
He had the first and second assist on a goal. That'd be so funny if you could do that somehow. Like you pass it to yourself and then pass it to someone else.
Or did he have 4 assists and I just fucked up?
We'll see. He had 4 points.
Yeah,
he
had 4
factored
points.
in on all 4
all
of the
4
goals.
goals. He was a factor in. While Skinner played well for the most part, except for that very end.
Yeah.
Draisaitl had 2 goals in that game, and
he did.
The Oilers were 1 for 3 on the power play.
Boring.
Crazy thing about Draisaitl.
Yeah.
He has been on the ice for every single Edmonton goal.
Yes, he has.
And has 9 points.
Yeah. He's been playing great.
In 4 games.
But also taking wildly stupid penalties.
This is the one that ended up tying the game, I believe. Or is that game 3?
That's game 3.
That is game.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Talk about that later. LA.
You want to talk about wildly stupid?
And also, Nurse is playing very well on the 5v5. He is picking the worst times to make boneheaded defensive coverages on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great for LA to steal it. There, game 2, Edmonton does win 4-2. This game was tied going into the third, 2-2, where Klim Kostin does break that tie. Draisaitl had a goal and 2 assists in this game, and then that 4th goal was an empty net. Korpisalo 33 for 36. That's 917, and then Skinner also had a 917 with 22 for 24.
Crazy it worked out like that.
Yeah. Edmonton was 1 for 1 on their power play, and then 4 for 4 on their penalty kill. They also outshot the Kings 37-24. So they did control this game.
Yeah. They looked much more like themselves.
Yes.
Especially the second half of the season.
Yes.
Because Edmonton going into the playoffs looked really good.
Had this crazy win streak.
Looked great.
9 games or something like that. Looked excellent.
And then just farted it away in the first game.
Game 1, they were out. They were without Fiala and Velarde. Game 2, Velarde does make a difference getting on the point sheet.
He made a difference in Game 3, too.
He does make a difference.
According to some people.
In Game 3, where LA wins this one in overtime 3-2. Korpisalo saves 38 of 40 shots because
Sorry.
the Oilers outshoot the Kings 40-31.
Yeah.
They very much controlled this game, but the Kings are 2 for 5 on the power play, 2 for 4 on the penalty kill.
Yep.
So this is what we were talking about, where both teams.
McDavid had both of their goals, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure McDavid scored both goals in that game for Edmonton, both on the power play.
Yes. This is what we talked about, where both teams were like in the 70% for that penalty kill. So whichever one,
got it together.
That hasn't happened yet.
Neither one has really got it together yet. Come on, we got to talk about.
And Trevor Moore scored the game-winning goal.
Where there's 2 things to talk about in this game. Let's talk about them in sequential order.
Okay.
So
cool.
Because I have a lot to say about both.
Yes.
So Edmonton scored on the power play, I think, I don't remember what period it was, to put themselves up 2-1.
Yep.
On the celebration of that goal scored by Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl just slashed Drew Doughty for seemingly no reason.
Looked directly at him, gave him a tap.
It wasn't
slash.
egregious or anything, but he did it right in front of the ref. Doughty, now people are like, well, Doughty was cross-checking, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, but at that moment, they had scored. Doughty was just skating to the bench.
Yep.
And Draisaitl slashed him on the shin.
While looking at him and talking at him.
Right in front of the ref. And so...
That's an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yes.
Every single time.
Oh, yeah. It was so unsportsmanlike.
Every single time.
And so the ref called him for it. He took a penalty. And LA tied the game almost immediately.
Yep.
And I saw a bunch of Edmonton fans online being like, oh my God, Draisaitl.
Right.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
It was... Now, it could be what you say is a soft call, but... This goes back to game management, as we were saying before, because a little thing like that, if they let them get away with that, they'll do more. It'll get worse. Then dirty hits will start happening. Mm-hmm. And it was just so unnecessary, too. It meant nothing to the game. Draisaitl was just being a dick and making it about him.
Yeah.
And I saw an Edmonton fan say that. They were like, even when McDavid scored, Draisaitl had to make it about him.
Like, it's...
So it's just one of those things.
It's an unsportsmanlike.
It is an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Single time.
And the ref was like looking at him like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
And then so I just wanted to say that because that was just like so stupid.
Yep.
It was such a stupid thing to do. And then in overtime, right before, I guess a little bit before the Trevor Moore goal, there was maybe a high stick on the puck.
The Velarde high stick.
Yeah.
Jesus
maybe
Christ.
On a completely inconsequential play that did not directly lead to the goal. It was right before it. It was on the same shift, but like Velarde, it looks like he high sticked the puck.
Look,
but
it was like a 5-minute review.
Oh, God, it was so long.
If you have to break this thing down frame by frame, like the Zapruder film.
Yeah, back and to the left.
Yeah.
Back.
To see if this puck changes its rotation.
Yeah.
Which it didn't look like it did.
No.
That means it's too close to call.
Yeah. And that is what the ref said.
Yep.
Eventually. Now, I was asleep when this happened. I woke up and saw all of these tweets about a high stick, blah, blah, blah. And I immediately thought, this was before I watched the highlights, I was like, oh, okay, did he high stick it into the net? No, not even close. And, like, if you watch it, I'm going to say he did high stick it, maybe. But, like, even if he did, that was essentially where the puck looked like it was going to land anyway.
Right.
It didn't matter. And I think there should be a time limit of like something that you have to review has to directly lead to the goal.
Well, also like
I don't think that directly led to the goal at all. The puck would have been in the same spot had nobody touched it with a high stick.
Well, I'm more in the like that's kind of defeating like the spirit of the rules.
Oh, it absolutely is. I'm gonna challenge on this ticky-tack penalty to make sure. Like, I get why they challenged it. Like, you don't want to lose the game, but like,
there's so many offsides calls in soccer now, especially with like the virtual assistant referee.
Yeah.
One, because there's so many like bad calls with VAR in the Premier League specifically because they resent that they have to use it, so they're just making it as awful as possible.
Yeah, it's like the referees in football that for one season they were like, you can review pass interference, and they were like, we're not going to ever overturn it.
Yeah, that's basically what they do. It's freaking ridiculous.
It's really stupid. Yeah.
But you're seeing like goals get called back for offsides because like their arm was offside. Just like that's not in the spirit of the like rule. Come on, like
it does not matter that his arm was offside.
Like
you don't even use your arm in soccer.
Millimeters shouldn't count. Like
well, they adjusted the offside rule in hockey this year because they were so tired of reviewing if a guy's skate was touching the ice or not.
Yeah.
That they're like, as long as your skate is above the blue line, as long as it breaks the plane of the blue line, you're onside. Right. You know. So they changed that, thankfully. But I think maybe they should even put in a time limit for like how long a review can take. You know, give it a good minute.
Like the pitch clock.
Yeah, like the pitch clock. Give it a minute, 90 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, you're on the clock to figure out what
and like
this is.
If it's within at the end of 90 seconds, you're like, I don't know. Then the call stands.
Yeah.
You know, so like, yeah, it was a 5-minute plus review. In an overtime game on the West Coast feed.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
This,
you know?
Yeah, this was a game where Edmonton also controlled it completely. Or, like, should have controlled it completely, but a little bit of dumb here and there.
Yeah. And then they bitched about the refs at the end. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Their coach, after this game, he was like, well, Connor McDavid said that it was a high stick, and I'll always back the best player in the league. Or in the world or whatever, and everybody was like, oh, I'm sorry, is he a referee?
Right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And of course he's going to say that because he's super freaking
the
competitive.
totally unbiased Connor McDavid, who plays for your team, Edmonton, that lost in overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He should just get all the calls. They should ask him. Him and Crosby and Ovechkin should just call it.
They know it.
They should just call
they know
the
it.
penalties.
They're never wrong.
Ridiculous. Such a stupid thing to say.
So basically, after the first 3 games, the Kings are playing a very well disciplined game. They're playing their game, and they're just waiting for Edmonton to fuck up, and Edmonton's just doing it.
Yeah, they're just fucking up.
Just fucking up.
They're like, okay.
Because if they played disciplined, the series would be over. It would be over because Edmonton on the 5v5 is just out. My bad. That was awful. Outplaying the Kings.
I will say, though...
Up until Game 4.
They're not getting a lot of goals 5-on-5, though. Half of their goals are on the power play, which is not sustainable.
It's not. But they are out...
Yeah. No. I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah.
5v5.
That's where Korpisalo comes in. Yes. He's keeping LA in the game.
Yep. All right, Game 4. This also goes to overtime, but this time Edmonton is the one who wins it in overtime.
Yes.
The Kings were up 3-0 after the first period.
Edmonton was
shell-shocked.
Edmonton was rattled after that first period.
Could not.
Now, I don't know what the hell was said at the second intermission, though.
But it fixed all of it.
It fixed it, yeah.
Because Edmonton scores 3 goals in the third period.
They tied it right at the end of the second period.
Roy scores the first goal to give the Kings the lead back in the beginning of the third, and then I think it's Draisaitl who ties it. I can only assume.
He tied it at the How many goals did he have in this game?
He had 2 goals and an assist.
No. So he scored both of those in the second period.
Okay.
Yeah, because I watched the after the second period was where I had to tap out and go to bed.
Oh, it was someone weird who tied it. Shoot.
I can look it up.
Bouchard. It was Bouchard.
Are you sure?
Or
Because he
Bouchard
scored
got
the
winner.
first goal for...
Then no, I'm not sure
Edmonton.
anymore. I don't know what's going on.
I got it. Don't you worry. Keep talking.
Who tied it? Either way, so Edmonton fought back. This is a game where you don't necessarily see, kind of like Toronto, is you don't always see these teams fight back.
It was Kane who tied
It was
the game.
Kane. Okay.
And then Zach Hyman won.
Hyman won it. Gotcha.
And Bouchard did get the assist on the
Okay.
game winner.
So this is really good to see Edmonton have the mental fortitude to come back in this game.
Yeah, it is nice to see that.
Because this game could have gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
After that
I
first
totally
period.
agree. It was because after that first period, they were down 3-0, and it was very easy to see on the ice that they were like, we don't know what to do.
Right.
We don't know what to do. Whatever was said at the second intermission turned the entire game around.
Yep. They did switch Skinner out for Campbell. Campbell played very well.
He played really well.
Net,
Yeah.
27 for 28.
I thought that in the second period, I was like, he's playing great.
Yeah.
Because LA almost scored 2 or 3 other times in the second period.
And he stopped.
He stopped them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Edmonton is still playing great doing great on the power play, or the Kings are doing bad on the penalty kill, whichever one you want to look at.
Yeah.
2 for 3 for the Edmonton's power play, but the Kings are 1 for 2 on the power play. So this is a special teams nightmare, or
it's a nightmare for both teams, really.
Yeah.
It's just not good for either of them.
This is just guys hating it.
It's just a mess. Yeah.
You did text me because Kevin Fiala came back for this game.
Yes. Okay.
Texted me about that trip.
After I saw the replay, I was like, that was a trip. Yeah.
That's really impressive on the refs to actually call it a trip.
Yeah, because it didn't look like that's what knocked Draisaitl down.
So
I think it was Draisaitl,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Kevin Fiala got called for a trip against Draisaitl because Fiala did check him.
Yeah.
Draisaitl fell, but what you couldn't really see was that Fiala's stick did get in between Draisaitl's leg and prevent him from catching himself.
After I saw further replay, I was like, oh yeah, that was a trip.
So that was a really good call from the referees. I'll give him that right there.
Well, before that, on Edmonton's second goal,
and I believe
I thought there was a trip.
Edmonton scored on that power play.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I thought there was a trip. I thought McDavid tripped Doughty. I was like, how did they not call that? Because that led right to a goal. And then on replay, I was like, oh, no, never mind. No, he didn't
Doughty,
trip him. He did.
Fell over himself.
Doughty just kind of fell down.
Yeah.
He checked him, but it was whatever. It was a clean check. But
so, this series is so much goddamn fun. It's
good.
The West Coast.
It's good. Yeah, I wish I could watch it. I wish we didn't have, actual jobs to go to. I would love to sit and watch hockey all night, but I can't. Right. I have to sleep because I have to be up in the morning. Yeah, that's the first week in the books
round
for the playoffs. Next week,
tell your non-hockey friends to start watching hockey right now.
Yeah, Charles Barkley will tell you too, because he said he turned off the NBA playoffs to watch the NHL ones.
Yes, he did.
Which I thought was really funny. I mean, I knew he was a hockey.
He's been talking about that for years.
He was like,
I don't care about the NBA.
And he's a broadcaster on TNT, and he was like, man, I turned this game off. It's boring. I was watching the NHL game. Let's just say this really quick. Next week, our episode's probably going to come out a little late. Probably still on Tuesday, but maybe Tuesday evening instead of
traveling.
Instead of midnight. Yeah, Clay's going to be out of town that week, so we can't do it on Monday like we usually do. And then the week after that, we probably will not. We will not have an episode because I will be out of town. Which
is fine because it's kind of the start of the second round.
We won't have as much to talk about. So next week, normal episode, just a little late. Week after that, probably not an episode. Definitely, I'm sorry, not probably. Definitely not an episode.
Taking a week off.
Yeah, and then we'll be back at normal time the week after that. But thank you guys for listening. Oh, and no real news from anywhere else other than playoff injuries and such.
And even then, they're keeping
them
tight.
Even that, they're not going to tell you anything unless it's a really egregious one. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. As always, we can be found wherever podcasts are located. Give us a rate, review, subscribe wherever applicable. Tell your friends, tell your family, because these playoffs have been
spicy
fun and spicy so far.
I love it.
But we will see you guys next week at the same puck time.
Same puck place.
Bye-bye.